In the farthest reaches of the galaxy, beyond the stars we know, there was once a legend whispered among the bravest space travelers. It spoke of a distant planet called Myrus, a world that looked just like Earth but was untouched by time. The legend told of explorers who had sailed across the universe, searching for mysteries beyond their imagination, and they stumbled upon Myrus, an eerie twin of Earth. The crew of the starship Voyager was the first to find this planet. As their ship entered the planet's atmosphere, they marveled at the blue oceans, green continents, and towering mountains. The cities, too, stood like silent monuments to an ancient civilization. It was as if they had landed on Earth itself, but something felt off, something ancient and hidden in the air. As they walked through the streets of the ruins, they saw something that made their blood run cold: statues. Statues of people. But not just any people, statues of the crew members themselves. The likenesses were so perfect, so detailed, that they felt as if their very souls were captured in stone. Their own faces stared back at them from every corner, carved into massive statues that lined the forgotten streets of a city long abandoned. "What happened here?" one of the explorers asked, his voice trembling. "Who are these people?" No one knew. The cities were empty, the sky was silent, and the statues, oh, the statues, remained as a haunting reminder of a mystery never solved. There were no signs of life, no clues to the fall of this once great civilization. Just the statues, and the feeling that the planet was watching them. The explorers stood in the shadow of the statues, the weight of an ancient secret pressing down on them. As the sun began to set on this eerie twin world, a strange hum filled the air, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to pulse with life. They weren't alone. The legend of Myrus was only just beginning. As night fell, the stars above Myrus seemed to burn brighter than any they had seen before. The explorers gathered around a fire, their faces drawn in confusion and fear. The statues, those perfect, lifelike statues, seemed to glow faintly in the moonlight, their eyes following every movement of the crew. A deep, ancient hum echoed from beneath the ground, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Captain Orla, the leader of the Voyager crew, stood and gazed at the nearest statue, her expression grim. "These aren't just carvings. They're alive. There's something here, something we've missed." As if in response to her words, the ground trembled slightly. The explorers held their breath, and for a long moment, all was still. Then, from the base of one of the statues, a faint light began to glow, pulsating rhythmically like a distant star flickering in the void. "I saw it too," whispered Jorin, one of the engineers, his voice barely audible. "A symbol, etched into the stone beneath it. It's the same symbol we saw in the star maps before we left, the one that was marked as a lost signal from deep space." A chill ran through the crew. They had been following the coordinates for years, searching for something that seemed to have been erased from history. But what could it mean that the signal had led them here? To a planet that mimicked Earth but was completely foreign in every other way? Suddenly, the statue's eyes glowed, faint at first, but then brighter, until the whole figure seemed to come alive. The crew backed away, panic rising in their hearts. And then, the ground shook again. The hum turned into a deep, vibrating roar. From beneath the earth, ancient machines began to stir. Giant stone doors, hidden for millennia, creaked open, revealing a labyrinth of underground tunnels. "Are we meant to go down there?" Orla asked, her voice laced with awe and fear. The answer came in the form of a whisper, not from any one person, but from the very stones themselves. The voice was ancient and strange, but its meaning was clear: find the heart of the planet. It knows you. It has always known you. With no other choice, the crew took their first steps into the darkness, unsure of what awaited them in the depths of Myrus. But the statues still watched, their silent eyes glowing faintly in the night. And so the legend deepened, as the explorers ventured into the unknown, drawn toward a mystery far greater than they could ever imagine. The deeper the crew ventured into the labyrinth of tunnels beneath Myrus, the colder and more oppressive the air became. The walls, lined with strange alien symbols, seemed to pulse with an eerie energy, as if the planet itself was alive, aware of their every movement. The hum that had once echoed from the surface now vibrated through their bones, urging them forward into the darkness. Orla led the crew, her flashlight illuminating the path ahead, while Jorin and the others kept close, their footsteps echoing through the winding corridors. They followed the whispers, the voice of the stones, drawing them deeper into the heart of the planet. The tunnels twisted and turned, but no matter how far they walked, the crew felt as though they were being pulled towards something, the center of the world. The air grew thick with a strange energy, and with every step, the hum grew louder, almost like a song. The explorers felt as though they were walking through the very soul of Myrus, a place that held secrets older than the stars themselves. At last, they arrived in a vast chamber, so large that the walls disappeared into the shadows. In the center stood a towering, glowing crystal, its light pulsing with the rhythm of the hum. The crystal seemed to breathe, its energy alive and vibrant, filling the chamber with an unearthly glow. Around it were more statues, more likenesses of the crew. But these statues were different. They were not carved from stone but seemed to be made of pure light, their eyes glowing with the same intensity as the crystal. The crew stood in awe, mesmerized by the beauty and power before them. But Orla's heart raced. She could feel it now, the truth. The statues, they were not just likenesses. They were echoes. Echoes of the crew's future, or perhaps their past. A cycle that had repeated itself, over and over, across the cosmos. The voice of the stones whispered again, clearer now, as if it came from the crystal itself, "You are the chosen ones. This is your home, your beginning and your end. The heart of Myrus awaits you." The crystal began to glow brighter, its energy flooding the chamber. It pulsed like a heartbeat, and the statues flickered, their forms shifting as if alive. Then, in a flash of blinding light, everything went silent. The explorers blinked in the sudden stillness. The crystal dimmed, and the statues were gone. The chamber was empty. But something had changed. As they turned to leave, Orla felt the weight of the words echo in her mind. "It knows you. It has always known you." The crew stepped out of the chamber, back into the labyrinth, and eventually back to their ship. But the legend of Myrus had not ended. It had only just begun. The mysteries of the lost world would stay with them, always whispering in the back of their minds. And so the story of Myrus, the mirror planet, lived on, waiting for the next brave souls to unravel its secrets, and to discover the true nature of the planet that reflected their very souls.